Hi, everyone. My name is Phil, and I'm the Chief AI Officer here at NiCE and the General Manager for NiCE Cognigy. I'm super excited about what we're going to show you today because we're going to be talking about Agentic Building for CXAI, leveraging coding agents directly within NiCE Cognigy. Because the way that we've been building software has fundamentally changed in the past 12 months. Agents are everywhere, and today we're putting the same power into your hands to build cutting-edge CXAI agents directly in Cognigy with the AI assistants that you're already using. Now, this is bleeding-edge technology, and we will show you what works today, what will work tomorrow, and where the edges are. So let's go. As I said, I'm Phil. I'm the Chief AI Officer, and I own the AI roadmap here at NiCE. And here today, I'm joined with Marcus, who is a director of AI transformation. He runs AI transformation projects directly on customer side. Everything I describe, he will show you directly in the tool, stunning demos on a real instance. Now, what are we talking about here today? Look at this chart. This chart isn't a hype slide. It's an adoption curve. And the important part is the y-axis. The chart shows merged commits that were built by Claude Code. So shipped outputs, not signups for a tool, not trials, but really shipped output. The inflection point happened around October 2025. And by now, or actually earlier in the year, we hit 134,000 commits a day that were built by AI. Now, a really important auxiliary number here is that knowledge worker are roughly making up 20% of the users. And the number of knowledge workers is growing 3 times faster than developers. That's your solution consultants. That's your customers, CX designers. And within a quarter or two, they're going to be asking, can we build our Cognigy agents in this way? And the question then will be, does the platform natively support it? Or do they have to go around you and connect directly to the REST API? Now, we're going to show you today what the platform already supports. When you're building CXAI agents, there were really always 2 personas in the room. There were developers, and the developers were building the API connectivity, building the functions, hooking it up to the contact center, et cetera, et cetera. And then there were the business users who were building the conversational flows, et cetera. But now with the emergence of coding agents, there's a 3rd persona entering the stage. Exactly those coding agents. And those coding agents can now act directly in the platform as well. Now, that doesn't remove the canvas, the flow editor, all the management tools that we have in the platform. It is simply a 3rd constituent that superpowers our developers and business users in how fast and how efficient they can develop AI agents. So today, we're announcing the NiCE Cognigy Agent Plugin. It installs directly into the assistant that you're already using. We're supporting Claude Code, Claude Desktop, ChatGPT, Codex, Cursor, Anti-Gravity, VS Code, and many, many others, because this is built on the Agentic Plugin standard. It is headless, so the interface is your terminal or your IDE that you're using, not Cognigy AI, but you can see all the changes that they're making directly inside the Cognigy platform. Now, the list of supported platforms here only keeps growing because, as I said, it implements the open agent plugin standard. New clients in the future will work without us shipping a whole bunch of new code. Now, the thing that really excites me is that this is not roadmap. This is already shipped. It's available on GitHub. It's open source, installable right now. You can install it while you're watching this webinar if you want. And let's park the architecture question for a second. Like, what is it really? This is much more than just API access. I'll show you the internals shortly, but an architecture slide doesn't really prove anything. So let's start with it working. Let's start by looking at the first demo. So I'm going to hand off to Marcus in a second. Watch what he does. He doesn't log into Cognigy. There's no blank canvas. There's no flow editor. Personas, goals, guardrails, everything is built conversationally. So Marcus, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Phil. And also from my side, welcome to the webinar. So let's build an agent. Just imagine we are a mobile-first bank called Meridian, and we want to build an AI agent within Cognigy to work within our contact center as a card fraud specialist. An agent customers can talk to in the morning when they see a charge they don't recognize. Let's call this agent Max. So for Max, it is important that it's got its own personality. For example, Max needs to stay calm. Max should always be friendly, obviously. There are some guardrails Max needs to follow, like always verify an identity before taking any action. Never promise a refund and hand anything legal over to a human. And what you're looking at here is just a standard AI coding environment with a NiCE Cognigy plugin already pre-installed. It works in Claude Code, Codex, Cursor, VS Code, whatever your team already uses. Now I simply describe the agent I want in plain language inside my Meridian project. So let me paste the prompt. So that's what I'm asking for here. Calm fraud specialist, identity verification, no refund promises, escalate legal issues, build it within the existing Meridian project we just prepared upfront within Cognigy AI to speed up the process a bit. And for the moment, I don't want Max to have any tools because I want to see how it behaves before we give it the ability to actually really do anything. So let's send the prompt to Claude. Behind the scenes, the plugin recognizes the task and automatically loads its inbuilt skills. So the expertise for creating and structuring a Cognigy AI agent lives in the skill and not in the prompt. It's also connected to my existing Cognigy instance through the platform MCP and Cognigy REST API. So as you can see, we've already got the confirmation here coming from Claude that it's building Max now in the background, creating the agent in Meridian, and some more details. So let's have a look into Cognigy AI and how far Claude already is. So we are logged into my Cognigy AI instance, and I'm here in my Meridian project, and I'm on the page for the AI agents. And just let's refresh it once. And here we go. We've got Max, which was created just a few seconds ago here by the Claude plugin. We can see that everything is defined and described, including the instructions we gave to Claude on a very high level. But as said, by using the skills, by using all these best practice informations which are coming with the plugin, Claude was able to deliver a completely working and well-defined AI agents, including all these important instructions and so on. It even did create a flow, and we can see just a minute ago. So this is exactly the flow Claude did build. For now, it's a very high level, a very easy one, because as we defined it, we first want to see what Max can do and how Max behaves before we go on and give it some tools to actually be able to do more. So now let's put Max under some pressure. Let's test Max on a high level without giving it any tools up front. So therefore, I've got a Claude roleplay prepared here, and I'm asking Claude, again via the plugin, obviously, to stress test Max as it's built right now. So let's send this prompt and let's have a look what Claude can do under the hood based on the skills, based on the best practice kind of information which are coming with the plugin, and based on the capabilities which are there via the MCP and REST API. So we should concentrate on two things here. Does Max sound calm? And does it verify identity before doing anything? So the customer comes in pretty hot, right? And Max handled it exactly as intended. It reassures them, then asks for the customer reference and security answer. No speculation, no promises, no refund promise. That's the first takeaway. The guardrails were there from the beginning before Max could take a single action.
Thank you, Marcus. And everyone here, now that you've seen it work, let's actually take a look at what's underneath, because it's not just an MCP server for Cognigy, right? That will be quite a bad description. So let's take a look at what it does. So the Cognigy Agent Plugin comprises of MCP servers, skills, agent, and is built on the Agent Plugin standard. It has two MCP servers. It has an MCP server, which we call Platform MCP, that connects to the Cognigy platform. This one supports a large number of tools that we're constantly updating as well. And those tools interface with the Cognigy REST API. And the second MCP server, and this is really important, it connects against our docs, so against our documentation page. So the agent has access to always up-to-date documentation and API specifications, extremely important. But these MCP and API endpoints aren't enough. We've also predefined a large number of skills that teach the assistant how to interact with Cognigy. How do I build a new agent? How do I adapt an agent? How do I add knowledge? How do I make an agent ready for voice? How do I configure WebRTC? And many, many more. These auto-load on a matching request and are then being used by the assistant to interface with Cognigy. We also have several sub-agents in the plugin. One is an agent builder that runs the build and test loop, and the other one is a voice go-live checklist. So you can run an audit of your existing AI agent on how ready it is for prime time on the voice channel. And again, all of that is based on the open standard, which means that connecting to other assistants in the future will be extremely easy. Now let's look at what it enables. We've already seen part of the creation piece, right? So it can create AI agents, it can create flows, it can create job nodes, endpoints, all of this conversationally. But it doesn't stop there. It can test your AI agents. It can test whether its conversational abilities are up to scratch. It can red team the agent, so it can test whether it can be hacked, and it can also run the voice checklist. Now, based on the test findings, it can then improve the AI agent. It can harden it. It can improve the conversational capabilities, update the persona, etc. And then you can test again, which is the loop. And then in the end, you can deploy it. You can deploy it on voice and chat channels with one simple command. So let's get started by looking at AI agent configuration. So earlier in the demo, we saw Marcus creating an agent from a prompt. What we're going to see here now is you can actually do so much more. You can create it from a PowerPoint. You can create it from a transcript. You can create it from a PDF. You can create it from a URL. You can create it from assets that are already sitting on your hard drive or in the cloud, a statement of work. The agent doesn't just create the persona and the configuration. It can create very advanced tools, including HTTP requests, and it can also create flows, deterministic flows, including code nodes that can work in conjunction with HTTP requests, and it can create knowledge bases, so it can set up the structure of the knowledge bases, fill them from external sources if you want, and it can even create X apps, which are our multimodal interaction interfaces. Now, usually this is where most of these demos stop, right? They go like, they type something into an agent and they're into an assistant and they go like, build the agent. Now let's watch it not stop. Marcus will pick it back up and show you the amazing capabilities we have here for agent creation.
So right now, Max has rules and a personality, but no hands. It can talk to customers about an unknown charge, but it can't actually do anything. So let's fix that. Max needs 4 abilities: verify the customer, check recent activity, lock the card, and raise a dispute. And everything except verification sits behind the identity check. No verification, no access. The tools are mocked for the demo, so I will seed a test customer with a reference name and a security question and 2 suspicious charges. So let's go back to our Claude Code project here. I will paste in the next prompt so that Claude does know what to do when it comes to the tools. And notice one line in the prompt. The verification must check the actual answer, not just whether it looks correctly formatted. Remember that because it will matter later. Okay, let's send the prompt. So as we already have seen also in the first use case and the initial creation of the AI agent, the plugin will directly identify the need for the skills and will start working within our project and adding the requested tools to Max. So we can see the plugin has been called and Claude is now creating the 4 tools on Max. So let's switch back to Cognigy once more to have a look how the tools are created. Just doing it. Here we go. This is Max without the tools as we have seen it. And just let refresh the page once. And there it is. 4 tools, all using our mock data, with everything sensitive behind verification. I described the contract, the agent builder implemented it. So now let's add the knowledge. And for adding the knowledge, let's go back to our Claude Code session. We can also see the confirmation here coming in that all tools are ready to use and ready to test. But before we do so, we want to add the knowledge. Because if someone asks Max about a fraud policy, we don't want any answer being based on the general model knowledge. We want Meridian's actual policy to be used by Max. So what we do now, we are adding a prompt again, just describing what Claude should do via the plugin. And what we also do is by dragging and dropping a Word document, which includes all the information that has been used to be pushed into the knowledge store, being chunked, and then being added to the AI agent Max to use it within the conversation. Let's ship it. So you can see the plugin is checking the document, confirming that everything is fine, adding the embedding model. This is the model which is being used, so the large language model which is needed to do the embedding for Max, so the RAG kind of technology which is used here in the end by the AI agent. We got the confirmation that the knowledge store is being created and the ingestion already started, and it will take something like 30 seconds. So let's check the backend in Cognigy again. So let's have a look on knowledge. And as we can see, just a few seconds ago, our Meridian card and fraud policy was added to the knowledge store here in Cognigy AI, or let's better say the knowledge store was created and our policy was added. Okay, now back to Claude and let's test all of that, what we just built together. Okay, so now being back in the Claude session, so let's ask Claude to do a test on what we have built and also to directly deploy Max to a web chat so that we also can test it on our own. But first, let's see which results are coming back here via Claude when doing the test. So verification passes. 2 suspicious charges, card locked, both disputes raised. And Max confirms the disputes without promising a refund, which is exactly as we set the guardrails. Then the policy question is answered from the document we uploaded. And finally, we've got a live web chat link. So let's check this one and try it out from the chat itself. Okay, so let's try it in action. I just need to copy and paste the endpoint URL here from Claude. And let's switch to the web chat interface. Starting a conversation here with Max, our card fraud support agent, and I'm just pasting in the complete prompt to make it a bit faster. and let's see what will happen. Everything is shipped, all needed information. And you can see Max stays calm. Max is very friendly, is confirming my identity, which is crucial and one of the guardrails, directly finds the two suspicious transactions on my account, confirms that the card is locked, is creating the disputes, and is giving back. So the fraud policy here via rec coming from Knowledge AI. And with this, I'm handing it over back to Phil again, and see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Marcus. So the plugin can build. The harder question is, and I mean, that's the question that decides whether any of this touches a customer. How can we prove that it's ready? So there are three things that we've built into the plugin. Firstly, it can run simulations. This is not to be confused with the Cognigy Simulator. Both have their own right of existence. The Cognigy Simulator is a UI-based tool inside the Cognigy user interface that lets you predefine conversations, predefine personas and conversations that you then run against your agents to see whether they're ready. And you can do that in a scheduled fashion so that you can do that once per day, several times per day, once a week, however you like. Now, a plugin simulation is the coding agent driving hundreds of conversations against your agent based on any input that you give it, based on transcripts, based on maybe the transcripts of the last couple of days. And then it can feed the failures right back into its engine to update the agent if you want. We also enable red teaming. This is adversarial probing before production, not after an incident. We're checking for prompt injection. We're checking for out of scope requests. We're checking that the user in the end cannot get the agent to do something that it's not supposed to do. And then last but not least, there's the voice go live check. This is an audit that passes over the voice agent before it goes live. It checks whether your bargain settings are correct. It even checks the models that you've used and may make recommendations to use other LLM, ASR, or TTS models that have a better latency. So really making sure that your voice agent is ready for prime time. So Marcus, let's take a look at that.
Now let's have a look on testing and optimizing an AI agent via the NiCE Cognigy plugin. This is probably my favorite part because this is where things get more realistic. Building the happy path is easy. We have seen it within a few minutes, everything is more or less done. But what happens after a launch? When someone makes a shortcut or changes something under deadline pressure? So let's simulate exactly this. Okay, let's do the testing now. I organized the screen a bit different than the last times. And what we do see on the right-hand side is our live follow capability within Cognigy.ai. That means as soon as I'm firing that prompt and asking Claude to do the tests via the plugin, and as soon as I'm giving Claude also a user ID, it will create the personas and do the testing based on these personas against Max within our project Meridian. And when it's starting to work, we will see the conversations on the right-hand side in the panel in real time. And here we go. The first chat is online, and you can follow everything Claude is testing against the platform via the Cognigy plugin and the respective skills in a real-time way. Back in a few minutes when Claude finished his job. So here we go. We've got the result, and we can see that Claude already found the critical security issue on the identity bypass. Let's say it glitch we implemented to find something, but the rest looks pretty good, right? But now I want to still go a bit harder here on the testing, and I will use our inbuilt red teaming skill, which is also being shipped with a plugin. And you can see I already triggered it here. And now it's really trying to break the guardrails. It's again checking the identity checks once more. And it's even doing things like testing against a system prompt injection, just as example. And here we go. We've got the full report on the red teaming, and we can see that, we once more identified the big issue that the answer does not need to match the right one. And this is something which needs to be fixed, obviously, and something we injected to find something, and gave back the overall results, which looks pretty good. And now we are just asking it to optimize everything based on the findings to fix Max again and to make it safe, and for sure also to get back to our initial identity check that it's really doing as it should be done. And here we go. Claude pulls the current guidance, restores the real security answer check, update the guardrails, and then it will run the tests again. So the plugin has done its work. The skills did help to test and to simulate the different personas again after the fix was done. And we've got the confirmation that everything is running as expected and as it should in a secure way. So this is really another part of the power of the platform, to not just build something, to not just edit something, to not just add knowledge, stuff like this, but really to find problems and to fix them directly within one loop, grounded in the current platform guidance. And this is how you keep an agent trustworthy after launch. Back to Phil, and I will see you back in a few minutes again.
Simply amazing. So that loop is really the core of it. Creation, testing, improving, testing, improving, testing, improving. But then the last mile is getting it in front of an actual customer. So, because of course there is a gap between the agent works in a test and a customer can talk to it. And that usually takes weeks of integration work. But the plugin does not stop at simple agent configuration. It can build front-end interfaces as well. It can build web apps. It can build web RTC clients that are then embedded, and it can publish to voice and chat channels in a single call. Now that's usually where the demo ends and the real project begins. Now here it is in the same session. So Marcus, last one, let's put it in front of a customer.
There's one channel left, voice. If your card just has been stolen, that's exactly the kind of moment where you might pick up the phone. And voice is much less forgiving than chat. Long answers, awkward confirmations, poor turn-taking, things that are annoying in chat can make a voice experience unusable. So before we put Max on a voice channel, we are going to audit it. The plugin has a dedicated voice go-live sub-agent that runs the checklist and applies safe fixes automatically. Oh, let's paste our prepared prompt and send it. So Claude Code, again, is calling the plugin and is loading all needed skills and kicking off sub-agents, which are also embedded into the plugin. And the audit now will go through the whole flow. It potentially will find some issues. If issues are there, it will directly fix those, like responses are getting shortened for speech, confirmations get tightened up. And because the checklist lives inside the plugin, it gets applied consistently every time. That's it. The go live audit for Max did finish, and we get the confirmation that everything is fine. All checks did pass the test. So let's go on with deploying our voice agent so that we really can test it and speak to it. Okay, so for the voice deployment, we do have a special task here for Claude Code and the plugin. So because we will test and demo it in a browser, it would be great to have a nice kind of interface, right? Where we can embed our voice connect widget to talk to it. So that's why I'm giving Claude a bit of a bigger prompt with some more information and some more requests when it comes to the way the interface should be designed. Let's send it and let's see what Claude will build out of it. Welcome to our Meridian banking app. So this is the interface Claude, together with a plugin, did create for us here to embed Max into it, to have a nice way to test Max and to interact with Max, because what you will see is that Max will also be able to navigate through the app and to pull up the right information and stuff like this. So let's directly dive into the demo and test it out.
Hi, I'm Max, your personal card fraud specialist. What can I do for you today?
Hey Max, this is Marcus. I just received a push notification about 2 transactions and I don't know them. Can you help me there?
That sounds worrying. Let's sort it out. To get started, I'll need your customer reference number and the answer to your security question.
So my reference number is MER 48213 and the answer on the security question is blue bicycle.
Thanks, Marcus. You're verified. I can see the first flag transaction is from August 21st at online electronics store for $450. Do you recognize that one?
No, I for sure haven't done it.
Got it. The second flag transaction is from August 22nd at unknown overseas merchant for $89.99. Do you recognize that one?
Not at all.
Understood. I can lock your card right now to prevent any further transactions, and I can file fraud disputes for both of those transactions. Would you like me to do both?
Absolutely.
Done. The fraud investigation team will review your cases and contact you with the outcome. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Well, that's really great. One question, how long does such a dispute typically take?
Let me check that for you. Most fraud investigations take 5 to 10 business days, though cases involving overseas merchants can take up to 30 calendar days. The team will notify you by app and email as soon as they reach a decision.
Cool. Okay. Thank you for the information. I think we are good for now. So I would say have a great evening.
You're welcome, Marcus. You too, and we'll be in touch soon about your disputes.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Marcus. Take care.
So that's it. We have built an AI agent within NiCE Cognigy from scratch, everything via the NiCE Cognigy plugin with the help of Claude Code. We added knowledge, we added tools, we run some tests, we did assessments, we improved the AI agent, and now we did a full demo, including a web front end, which even interact with the agent. And with that, I'm giving it back to Phil.
Thank you, Marcus. Now, that is the whole life cycle in one session. We created AI agents, we tested them, we improved them. That is the loop. And then we have deployed them to a customer service. It's simply fantastic. But now that coding agents can have write access to your platform, they can also mess stuff up. They can delete things. So let's talk about it instead of talking around it. At Cognigy, we have several features in the platform that allow you to take backups. We have packaging, which allows you to take backups of individual resources. And we have snapshots, which capture and restore point-in-time versions of your AI agent configuration. Now, the Agentic plugin can interface with both of those, can create packages and can create and restore snapshots. So before the agent makes any changes, it is instructed to take a snapshot, to take a proactive backup, if you wish. But we're not stopping there. We have a lot of amazing, cool stuff on the roadmap. We have versioning and rollbacks specifically for coding agents. We have updates to our audit logs to see what are the coding agents actually doing in the platform. We're going to split up endpoints into development and production endpoints so that you can be sure that what is live in the production endpoints does not get impacted. And connected to that, we're working on snapshot approval workflows. We can take a snapshot and you say, okay, this one is ready. This one is the next version of our AI agent that should go live. It then has to pass an approval workflow with simulations attached and everything. And once it is ready for prime time, it can then be assigned to a production endpoint. Now, one of the amazing things about the plugin is that it is open source. You can find it on GitHub. You can fork it, download it, change it. You can do anything to it. But what that means is that you can actually adapt it to your organization. You can customize the existing skills, the instructions, and the workflows, and you can match them to the standards, terminology, and processes that you have in your organization. Of course, you can extend it. You can add skills. Best of all, you can even ask Claude to add skills to your Claude plugin. So you can create new skills, you can create tools for your teams, for your use cases and your internal workflows. And last but not least, of course, you can connect the plugin to the MCP servers that you may have developed over the past couple of months and the ones you're going to be developing in the future, of course. So you can really make it your own. So summarized, there are now two ways to build, but it is still one platform. We have the Cognigy UI with our low-code AI Agent Studio. Very intuitive, direct control, visual design, and fine-tuning of AI agents. Of course, easy to understand and inspect AI agents because it's not a terminal-based interface, but it is a beautifully crafted user interface. And this is the human native authoring experience with collaborative editing and all this kind of stuff. And now we have coding agents. They can live in their own UIs or they can live on the terminal. This is really for speed, for efficiency, for automation, for refactoring. It is a strong developer native workflow, but it works hand in hand with the Cognigy user interface. So the UI stays the inspection surface, and that's exactly what makes delegating something to an AI to a coding agent safe in the first place. However, before you start, you got to know the boundaries. It is open source software, so it is provided as is under the applicable license. So before you use it, check out the license on GitHub. The coding agents can, through the plugin, trigger resource changing operations. They can override or delete Cognigy resources. So take backups, take them proactively. You can even automate that. So you take one every day, snapshots or packages, write them away. You can take backups through the Cognigy CLI interface as well. But it's really important to keep that in mind. This is just like hiring another developer who now works on your AI agents. And last but not least, it is AI generated quality. In many cases, this will mean that it is absolutely stunningly amazing. But sometimes AI also goes a little bit off the rails, right? We all know that when we're working with it on a daily basis. So there is human oversight required, and human oversight and validation remains critical. Agentic Building delegates the implementation, but not the accountability. So get started today. As I said, the plugin is available on GitHub. You can find it in the Cognigy organization under Cognigy NiCE Plugin or at GitHub. Take it for a test drive. And most important, share your experiences. We want to hear from you. How are you using the plugin? Are there things that you are missing that you might even want to contribute yourself? It is an open source project. We're looking forward to your contributions, and we are really looking forward to seeing what you are going to be building with it. Thank you very much.